Hey there everybody, it's Sasaro Penumbra here, just to really quickly go over the details of the new Super Soul called Damn. Gonna have to go all out, that just released with the new Cell Max raid with its completion here. Now, I really don't like the way that they word Super Souls. It's really vague, and you'd think that they're trying to hide some big secret here, when they could really just put the numerical values for us and we'd know exactly what we're working with. But I tested out this Super Soul here a little bit in training mode. Now, a bit of time after the battle starts translates to 60 seconds. After 60 seconds, these two effects will come in. You will boost all of your attacks and your movement speed by an XXL amount, which turns out to be a 30% increase in damage there. Now, in exchange, from the very beginning of the match, your opponent is going to be doing 10% more damage to you. Now, as far as how good I think this Super Soul is, it's kind of weird to place, especially considering how it's brand spanking new. But on paper here, I think it's only okay at best. Now, of course, this Super Soul will function just fine in any PvE scenario, especially in those really long parallel quests. 1 minute isn't going to be too huge of a deal, but you could also use the alternative, which is God of Destruction Topo's Super Soul. I've cast aside everything for this, which does boost your attack even more, by 35% as opposed to 30%. Now, granted, it does come with a lot more downsides than this Super Soul right here, but when you're in PvE, the matches aren't as fast-paced, and the AI just isn't as smart as your typical human player, right? So, even though this Super Soul can function in PvE, I do think that I've cast aside everything for this Super Soul does outclass that one, or this one rather. So, unless you don't have that DLC, I don't see any reason to choose this Super Soul over the other. Now, as far as PvP goes, a minute is a really long time, no matter how you want to slice it in a player match. I want to say that most player matches are probably lasting anywhere between a minute and about a minute 30, especially if there's competent players involved. Now, the way that I kind of see this, if this is a Super Soul that you want to bring into a player match, it's going to be because this is kind of like an underdog comeback type of Super Soul, right? The match is going, maybe, you're putting up the good fight, but your opponent is getting in more damage than you are just because of this Super Soul's effect. And then boom, you hit that 1 minute mark, you get this huge boost in damage and movement speed, and all of a sudden you turn it around on them, right? So this would also be a good Super Soul if you were going up against someone who's pretty equal in skill to you. So, it's just a really long match. You guys are going back and forth. And then this Super Soul kicks in, and now you've got one hell of an advantage, right? So it just kind of depends on your playstyle, how well this Super Soul is going to work for you. As for me, I don't think it's something that would really suit my needs and my playstyle too well. But, if you consider yourself to be a bit of a comeback kid, then this might be right up your alley. But anyway, folks, that's going to be all from me. I just wanted to go over the specifics of this Super Soul just because in one of my previous videos I did say this Super Soul had some potential. And quite frankly, I don't think that it lives up to its potential, primarily because of how long it takes for the Super Soul to activate a whole minute into the match. Like I said, that's certainly passable in PvE, especially if you're doing some of the longer quests, but in PvP it's kind of a questionable amount of time if you can actually manage that. But anyway, folks, I certainly do hope that you found the information you were looking for in this video, and until we meet again, folks, make sure you take care. See ya.